So, which character for IDW has been the most fun to draw for each of you?
I'm going to say Rat Trap, because technically I've only gotten to draw like 2 things for IDW.
I always love drawing Starscream. Just, yeah. The drama, it's great.
Yeah. I think one of my favorites, probably, I never got to draw much, but Skylinks, I drew a couple covers with him on it. I'm just like, more Skylinks, please, more Skylinks. He needs to be out there more, so I always enjoy drawing him. But I like drawing like Nyx as well. She's super fun to me.
Star Drive. I like Star Drive. She was fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So my day job is being a composer for several people. I'm currently writing a large orchestral work for a group in DC, and I obviously have a creative force in that way, working with architecture of things and hierarchies and stuff like that. But when I try to transition that into like drawing anything, it often starts with just like me like doodling a sine wave and just like going random spots around the page, and I can't seem to pinpoint a form down that way. And I guess my question is, if you're recommending somebody just starting out with artists who wants to do art, who's got like nothing, no skills in drawing. I mean, I can see things in my head, but the link from here to here is obviously much different than from here to like an instrument or something. So what's your recommendation for somebody that's just starting out with art? Like, where would you point them to?
When you say point them to, like, what do you mean? Like
resources, ideas, exercises.
Exercises, just draw every day. Any free moment you can, just keep drawing. It'll be tough at first, but then it'll get easier and easier, and then one day it'll click. But you gotta, like they say, you got like 10,000 bad drawings in you before you start hitting the good stuff, and you gotta get those out. And I look at my earlier work, and I'm like, yep, those are crappy drawings right there. And it wasn't until around, I guess, the ongoing that it started to click. And then I'm like, oh yeah, like, I'm not crappy anymore, I can draw. So you have to put the time in and just do it, and not worry about your overall product or how it looks right now. It might not look the way you want it, but to somebody else it might look really good. And you're just gonna get better and better. You'll like figure out new ways of doing things. You'll be like, oh, when I did this first head of like sound wave here, I'm like, oh, it took me a while, but the next one, it got easier. I was starting to commit the forms to memory until the point where it's like you're just automatically going at it. And then you can start refining those details, finding your comfort zone, stuff like that. So you really have to just keep at it and draw. And don't get discouraged if it's not turning out the way you want, because we all have those days. It happens to us all. And we just muddle through. And if you get frustrated with drawing, then walk away. Like, take a break, do something, play video games, watch TV, read a book, read a comic, and then come back to it. Like, don't work and be frustrated while you're working. Like, when you get to that point where it's like super frustration, that's the moment where you have to take a break, walk away, then reset and refocus. I was working on a piece of artwork for the Kayfabe-tober drawings where I spent four hours working on it, and then I realized that I screwed up the background, and I was like, can I salvage it? No. And then I was like really pissed off, and I walked away. I had like lunch, and then I came back and I was like, oh, let me start again. And then I did another one. The second drawing ended up being better than the first one. So just keep drawing. Just work at it.
Yeah, and I think going back to basics is really helpful. You know, nude models or just drawing a fruit bowl. Like, you don't want to make your career drawing apples, but it's going to teach your brain how to remember how an apple looks like, you know, or how a character looks like, or how humans look like. So it's just going to train your brain to remember things better the more you do it, you know. We had every week 5 hours of nude models in college, and I didn't want to draw nude models for my life, but it taught me how to make characters more dynamic and how the human shape worked, and it helped me on like learning how to draw backgrounds as well. Even though there was nude models, it has nothing to do with backgrounds, but it teaches you to observe and what's important to observe and how those shapes work and how the perspective works and the angles. So all of that just can improve every aspect of drawing, in my opinion.
I'd echo what she said. Yeah, it's all kind of like about training your brain. You're teaching your brain something completely new. And yeah, like drawing something as lame as a bowl of fruit or whatever, but it teaches your brain to recognize shapes, and it teaches your hand how to kind of recreate those things. And so yeah, definitely draw all the time. I think what you're doing, what you said you're doing already is great, because art is expression. So I think, expressing yourself in whatever way that you can or know how to the best of your ability is great practice in itself.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.